Hello, everybody. Welcome to our team call tonight. We have a great team call tonight. Rebecca sends her apologies; she's not on tonight, but she will be on the other calls. But we have some fantastic information to share with you tonight and some great guest speakers. So let me just share my screen just a couple of bits of information just to help you. Sorry, 1 second.
All right, Nathan, you keep stalling. This is perfect.
No, I updated my computer and now it's saying to me you have to
Oh no.
Screen sharing, but no, I've sorted it. It's fine. Okay, so we have convention coming up in May, and just to remind you about it. So those of you that are coming, there is a convention WhatsApp group that many of you are part of. So if you want to be part of that group, find out where people are staying, come for a group photo, those kind of things, and connect with people coming from our team and some people from the UK. But if you are coming from Europe, please connect with us on there as well. If you're coming from, some of you might be coming from South Africa or anywhere, want to be part of our group, then join us on that WhatsApp group and be part of our team. Okay. We also have Empowerment Day the day before, which the lovely Lindsay will be our special guest host, which we're excited about. Empowerment Day is going to be very, very good. The lineup's looking, we're going to learn lots about the business and different things. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. And then convention is going to be great. So if you haven't booked convention or Empowerment Day, then please do. It's going to be terrific. And if you want to, honestly, if you want to go anywhere with doTERRA, convention is the best place to start, and also to show your teams. It's so easy to get people excited and motivated when they go to convention. It's such a great time. We also have Leadership Retreat, which has just been announced, is in Berlin, Stronger Together. So this is for Silver Plus leaders. So the qualification is to hit Silver once, you got it at least once, in the 6 months of January to June of this year. So there's still 2 or 3 months to hit Silver if you would like to go to Leadership. And I would highly recommend Leadership. It's much smaller than convention, because obviously it's only Silver Plus leaders, but it's all about leading. It's all about the business. And it's a 2-day event mixing with like-minded people that are going places and have a similar vision to you about the lifestyle of the doTERRA business. So it'd be fantastic. And the 2 doTERRA events we really recommend that you go to are a Leadership and convention. Okay. So whether that's for whatever country you are in, every year go to a Leadership and go to a convention. And ideally with us in Europe, if that's the closest thing to you. And just another announcement, we will be, Rebecca and I, and all of our leaders, we are opening up a Telegram chat. If any of you know what Telegram is, if you don't, then it's a new social networking. Well, it's not really new, but to us it's new. It's a new social networking platform, and it's very, very good. So we want to use that because some of our chats we're going to be hoping to migrate over to Telegram, but we're going to be opening a Silver Plus group on there. So this is for all our leaders that would like to, that have hit Silver Plus. Now, what we want is Silver Plus leaders that that are excited, that have the energy, that are wanting to move forwards with doTERRA. Okay, and it's going to be an amazing group where we get to tell you all about the latest things that only we can share with Silver Plus leaders. So we'll share that on Silver Blossom, and if you've hit Silver Plus in the past, you're welcome to join it. All right, so we'll leave it there. I'll put more about that on the social media. Right, so enough of that. I will turn the time over to the lovely Lindsay. Lindsay just recently went to Kenya on a Co-Impact sourcing trip with Emily Wright, who is, as most of you will know, the founder of doTERRA, and had a, Lindsay's been, I'll let her share it with you, but she's had an amazing time, and we want Lindsay to share with you because it's showing another side of doTERRA, the humanitarian side, but also, you know, we don't get to see the impact doTERRA is having and how the oils are sourced as much. So Lindsay's going to share that with us tonight. So over to you, Linz. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. So I don't think if I had like 2 weeks to prepare for this, actually, there would be enough time for me to go through all the photos and actually tell you about it. So what I didn't want to do is to share all my lovely photos and say what an amazing time I'd had and leave you going, well, that was great, but we weren't there. What I'd really like for you to feel is some of the feelings that we were able to get while we were there. So there's still one thing that's just uploading. I wanted to share some photos and I might need to just a little bit with the sharing some of them because some of them are not quite uploading. I have put a couple onto some slides, so I don't know if I've got, could you just give me sharing permission, please, Nathan? Do I already have that? You've done that, perfect. Thank you. So I might need to flick through some of the photos directly because they're not quite loading onto the file. Done. So so this was a trip that I'd wanted to go on since 2019, and then it wasn't quite the right time for me to go then. So then when I was invited to go this time, I absolutely jumped. Could I just ask whoever, are you all right to find and mute?
I'll find them.
Yeah, thanks, Nathan. So I was really looking forward to it. Sorry, the video that I wanted to share with you is not quite loading. It's taking ages to load, so I might have to just skip that one. It was really cool because it showed you kind of how they get the water from one area to one reservoir to another one. So I wanted to share that with you. If I'll give it a little bit of time still to load. So just before I actually share the photos, so it was a trip I'd been looking forward to for a really long time, but only just booked really very close to the time I was going. And I knew Emily Wright was going, and I thought, like, I was a little bit, starstruck's the wrong word, but I kind of thought, what do I even say to someone like Emily? Like, if I do get the opportunity to even have a chat with her, what would I even say? Because I think she's amazing. I know lots about her. It sounds really stalkerish when you go, I know everything about you. So I didn't want to do that. So it was all these things going through my mind. And then I got the opportunity to have a chat with her several times, and some really quite personal ones as well. And so it blew all my expectations out of the water. And so I hope the few things that I can share with you will give you a little glimpse into what goes on kind of behind the curtain with doTERRA. I'm going to have to skip this video. That's a shame, but I'm going to have to skip it because it's not loading quickly enough. So I will just share what I have on there already. Okay. So we got to go to 2 different farms. Actually, well, I will share this with you. We got to go to 2 different farms, and before we went to the farms, we arrived at our hotel, which is a really beautiful hotel, and it was on the beach. And we went in the sea for a swim, and at the same time, Taylor, Taylor Mackay, who's in charge of sourcing in Kenya, all of their sourcing, he kind of directs, and he's their person on the ground, was in the sea. So we thought, okay, it's safe to go in the sea. In we go to the sea, and then in comes Emily Wright and her daughter into the sea as well. And so we're just kind of having a chat in the sea, as you do. And so in my mind, I was thinking, is this just like a bit of a promotional opportunity to take photos? I'm being so brutally honest with you guys, so hopefully you'll stay with me. And I thought, I don't like the idea of going to a farm, posing for a photo with a spade, and then off we go again. That really doesn't make me feel good at all. And so I thought, I'm going to ask them. So I asked Taylor and Emily, do they actually like us coming to the farms? And or is it just kind of really annoying because all these unskilled, inexperienced people who've never done this before come along to the farm, do a bad job, and then they have to do it all again afterwards? So this is what picture I had in my mind. I'm very skeptical, as you can probably tell from what I'm saying. I thought, oh, how much impact can we actually have? Is this really helpful? And so they said, oh no, they really love it. And I thought, of course they're going to say that. And so then we got to the farm, and this is the video that won't upload, so I'm really sorry it won't upload. They were literally singing as we arrived at the farm, like singing and dancing as we arrived. So as all the 3 or 4 cars, I think 4 cars arrived to the first farm, or 3 cars arrived to the first farm. And so they were literally singing a welcome, with, you know, babies on their backs and little toddlers running around next to them. But they were all so happy to see us. And I thought, this is really lovely. But again, this is kind of part of their culture. This is what they do. So maybe still thinking, is this really going to be a welcome thing? Anyway, so we get to the farm and we start working, and they had different tasks for us to do. So actually my slides are totally out of order, so I'm going to now reorder them. Let me show you this. Okay. All right, let me share with you. So we get to the farm. I can't show you the video. Maybe I will get to afterwards if it will load. It just wouldn't load onto my slides. So we get to the farm. This is lemon eucalyptus, which I had not seen. This is lemon eucalyptus trees. This is after a lot of work. You can probably tell from how sweaty and dirty everyone is. This is us having planted a whole field of rosemary. So they're teeny tiny plants. You can see them kind of in the front there. This whole field was planted with rosemary by us. And at the same time, there's a whole team mulching, which is putting organic products, so tree waste from the distillation process is being spread around. I didn't get a photo of that, spread around these trees. So it's a really good way to stop the weeds from growing. So then it's easier for then the whole récolte, I just got to learn in English, when they collect the actual plants, so they get a better yield. So this is what we did. And we also fitted a distillation, oh my gosh, what's happening to my words? We also fitted an irrigation system. So this is us doing the irrigation system with this beautiful lady, Paulina. She was the one who was dancing like crazy when we arrived. And this is Ashlyn, Emily's daughter. So we were fitting this irrigation system. This is then the end of the irrigation system. And so we're putting the little plugs on, so the water has some pressure to be able to spray all over the, this was for the peppermint field that we were fitting the irrigation system for. And so we were working really hard, and I thought, I love this. This is real work. This is what I came here for. This is what I wanted to do. And what I was really, really grateful for was actually we saved the farmers 2 weeks worth of work in just a few hours, because there were quite a few of us and many hands make light work. And so we were able to have such a huge impact on that farm. And all we were thinking was, there's not enough time. We want to do more. Like we could do, like, what could we do if we stayed just stayed for 10 days and every day we did 4 or 5 hours of work. And it was so nice. And the farmers were so grateful. The farmer was an older man who used to be a teacher, and who had then, his name was Francis, and who had then become a farmer in his retirement. And so this was now his retirement, was running this farm, which I thought was amazing. But he was so grateful, and he kept saying, oh, stay a month. And I thought, oh, they're not thinking, gosh, these irritating people coming to do these unskilled work. They were really thankful for what we were doing, and I absolutely loved that. I also loved that it was not about the photo, it was about the work we were doing, which is why I don't have as many photos as I really would have wanted to have of that work. We also got incredibly dirty actually, you can totally see it in this photo. You can see the creases of my neck are literally covered in dust because I was so hot and sweaty, so it was all sticking to us. But we worked incredibly hard, and I was so glad about that. So again, my skepticism was totally wiped away. We were there to work, we were there to do service, and they were really grateful. Then we also did a little oil workshop for them. So we taught them how they can use the oils that they're planting, that they're growing, and that was so, it was so cool to see them really. Paulina actually especially she had a notebook and she's taking notes about everything we're saying, and what do you put that with and how many drops, all in Swahili. So we had an interpreter to translate from English to Swahili for them, because lots of them didn't speak English. So we were able to have some real impact on that farm. And then we went to
on that note,
pardon?
On that note, you were telling me at the weekend, you were telling me about, which I thought was really cool, that they never see the finished product. The workers never see.
Yes.
The workers never see the finished product. So they don't really use it like we do. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you. That's a good point. So they don't see, they just see the plants, and then they take the plants that they've harvested to the distilleries, and then they get their payment and all that, and then that whole process carries on. But they don't see, they might, if they work in the distillery, they'll see some of the oil, but they won't see the finished item in bottles. So it never comes back to Kenya. So we were able to take a whole bunch of oils to the families, to the farmer and his family, and then he then shared them out with the people who worked on the farm with him, like his neighbors. Real sense of community. It was really, really lovely. So that was a big part of when they smell. Actually, there was a lady, one of the ladies even, who is one of the field managers. So she is a kind of manages several farms. So she's the contact person for the distillery. She smelt some peppermint and literally just cried. She said, "This is what we're growing." And it was so lovely to see, how valued they felt. That was really, really nice. And so we were able to kind of say thank you for what they're doing. And one of the things that we shared, and I got the opportunity to share, is that you feed your families by farming these plants, and we feed our families by selling these oils. So these oils are doing everything for you and for us. So it was a really, really, really nice way to see the other side of the bottle. Hopefully you're getting the image that I'm creating, but there was a real sense of gratitude from them and from us, which again is that real partnership, isn't it? We need them, they need us. This is a long-lasting partnership. Then those plants then get taken to the distillery. So this is tea tree. It gets dumped in a big pile from their trucks, loaded into this big sill. It then goes into these huge furnaces. I mean, no, that's not the furnace. That goes into these two huge chimneys. And then the furnace is heating it. I'll show you the furnace in a minute. And so all the water's coming through that steam distillation. It's all coming through, extracting the oil. And then we end up with this leftover. So this is where the oil is. Pipe here is where the oil is coming out of. It's then going to come into some other pipes underneath, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then we've got this leftover water. This is the water that's left over at the end. And so it's not wasted. It's then reused again and again and again. 20 times they reuse the same batch of water for obviously the same batch of essential oils. If they're changing plants, then they'd have to do fresh water and clean everything out. So this is for tea tree. They're going to use the water 20 times. So they have to also have a cooling system. So they have a cooling system where it's essentially just going through a whole bunch of grates and falling through the air. So as it falls from one layer to the next, it's cooling down, cooling down, cooling down, cooling down. And that creates then the water that's cold enough to go back in again and create the whole pressure that they need in the whole distillation process. And then here, there you can see this part here. I don't know if I zoomed into that actually. I do have another photo, but this is the separation tower. So in this here, that kind of cloudy water you can see there is the water. And you can only see a tiny layer because they've just got the oil out of there. It's like a yellowy layer above. That's the essential oil. And so that's how they then separate the essential oil
from the water, and that was really cool to just see how it's done, to separate it as well. And we got to smell it, and to be honest, there were so many. So they had ylang ylang, ginger, tea tree, and geranium. Geranium wasn't being distilled at that point actually, but those 4 were being distilled all at the same time. There was a heck of a smell. It was really, really strong smell. I had actually at that point had a bit of sunstroke, having worked on the farm, and so the ginger was so helpful to kind of clear my ears and to give me some more clarity. So it was a really, really good experience to go to that distillery. This is the, oh, here we go. I did get one video to upload. This is the lemon eucalyptus as it comes in brut. This is the back. I wanted to help, so I got it. Everything is very, very manual, actually. So everything's very manual, which actually I was quite amazed by, that it's very, very manual. So the water, even the water on the farming, they are pumping it by feet. That's the video I wouldn't upload for you. You pump it by foot like this. So you're standing on something and pumping the water from the big reservoir into the smaller reservoir that's up high, and then that runs down the pipes to then irrigate the whole field. So it's all very, very manual. Works really well, but it's very labor intensive, and so they have to have really lots and lots of workers. So yes, let's see. Helping this, I'm not sure this was particularly helpful, but he was very kind and let me help him. So let me get to the next one. Here we go. Here's the furnace. So this is the furnace, and I wanted to show you this because this is one of the things that I loved about the distillery. It really highlighted, so here's the massive furnace here on the right, and this is going 24/7. The furnace, it has someone there, only one person is there. Obviously they rotate the people, they're on shift, but it's just always going, so that they're always able to be distilling. And they fuel the fire with, these are macadamia nut shells. So this is a byproduct of macadamia nut farming, because they do a lot of macadamia nuts in Kenya, and so this is a byproduct of that. So they're buying that from local farmers, again feeding local industry, which is brilliant. But that's all. That is seasonal, so they can't always have that. This is ginger byproduct. So when they have the brut ginger, which we saw a massive pile of, which of course you had to lie in. So we had a pile of ginger, and then they have to crush the ginger, like kind of shred it all into this paste, or into like a paste. And then they're able to then distill that. And then what's left over is this kind of grainy product. And so they're able to pack that in with some avocado. And then this creates these tablets that they can use in a fire for fuel. So it was amazing to see, again, zero waste, just like the water's used over and over again. Their fueling system is zero waste. If they're not using it for these briquettes for the furnace, then they're using it for mulching on the actual farm. So all of the waste product is used for another purpose, and I absolutely loved that. I thought it was so clever. Every thought is going into every step of this process, which I'd heard, and I knew that they were doing a good job. I didn't realize they were doing this good of a job. Everything is thought of. Even the smoke that's coming out of the furnace. I have this as a video, but I didn't put it on as a photo. The smoke that's coming out of the furnace is then pushed through a whole bunch of tubes and pipes, and then it gets pushed through water, which is taking out more of the carbon from that smoke, so that then the air that comes out of the distillery is cleaner than it would be if it just came straight out. So even that process, which again, that's not about waste, is it? That's about what we put back out into the environment. So even that's thought of, and I thought that's just so cool. And so for any of you who can't quite comprehend, if you've had if you've seen or used a shisha or a bong, that's essentially what it is. It's pushing it through, so you get lots of the yucky stuff out of the smoke, so that then it's cleaner air coming out the other side. And that was really, really cool. I really like to see that. Oops, is that all I've managed to put on those slides? I think it might be. That is all I've got on the slides. So the main thing that, stop sharing. Have I stopped sharing? I have stopped sharing. Perfect. Yeah, the main takeaways for me, actually the one I think I didn't put on there is the time with Emily. So that's the last thing I wanted to share was while the experience in the farms and the distillery and with the other leaders, well, mostly the farm and the distillery was amazing in terms of knowledge and experience and feeling it. The time that I got to spend with some of the other leaders, particularly some of the Russian leaders that we just haven't really had any contact with because of current, circumstances, was just amazing. It was a whole bunch of leaders that I hadn't really had any contact with, and they were so inspiring and so willing to share. And everyone's sharing things that have worked for them and things that they did and things that didn't work for them. And one of the Russian leaders who was, I think they were double blue diamond as well, so there were two double blue diamond Russian leaders there, one couple and then one man on his own. And he shared that he actually teaches power of three structure and how to structure your whole organization with Lego people. So I thought, that's cool. And so it also opens up the conversation, which character are you? Well, this is Batman. He has lots of fears, and maybe he's not quite ready to be out in the open. Well, actually, I'll be Superman because la la la. The conversations that can arise. And I thought it was absolutely amazing. And I thought I just want to watch his videos and find a way to translate them so I can see. It was really, really cool and really inspiring. So we sat there kind of puzzled, watching him at the table with Emily Wright, going through with his whole box of Lego people, which he had brought with him. And he's like, blah, 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 about these Lego people. And then in the end, I think it took about 10 minutes later, Sigrun, who's one of the German Blue Diamonds, she just went over and went, what are these Lego for? And so he told us all about it. And that was really, really beautiful. And it was just really nice to hear another way of doing things. And I thought, wow, we never thought of using Lego. We have so much Lego in our house. And so the other thing was Emily. So Emily, as we know, she always has so much emotion, doesn't she? She's always full of passion, full of heart, full of inspiration when we see her on stage. And I thought, oh, what's this going to be like, to be like more time with her? She's not on stage, she's not performing, she's just being. And so and I wondered, and so I'm a bit of an observer. I kind of just watching and listening, and just don't necessarily want to have a conversation, I just want to hear the conversations. Like, I take so much from that. It's really lovely. And she was totally like she is on stage. One of the things that happened, some of you might have seen, I like to jump, like like this, like into water, or just jump. And so I was doing that with some of the other girls that we were sharing a room with and that I was with. And then Emily was on the side, and and then a couple of other leaders came, and then Emily came along. And so before you knew it, 2 hours later, everyone has been doing like these slow motion jumping videos, and I'm in the water filming. And so we're all just kind of having fun. There was nothing more to it. For Emily, there was. Anyone who hadn't jumped in, anyone who was just sat by the side watching, she went up to them and said, are you ready to jump into your doTERRA business? This was just an exemplification for her of their business and their lives. And I thought, wow, that's such a cool teaching moment. And so she got like 3 of them who were just not really wanting to jump, totally jumped in. One of them, like, there was just some really beautiful moments, just that Emily was able to create with some of the leaders. And she's just so giving. Kind of mentioned this when she was on, and then I thought, actually, I'm going to stop talking about her while she's here. I can be more gushing when she's not here, because that makes her uncomfortable. But I just thought she's just so giving, and everything we see on the stage, everything she says when she's speaking, she is that person through and through all the time. You know, she really cares about people, and she is just driven to help people, and like in every way, in a really small way by jumping into water, and in really big ways like creating an opportunity for Kenyan people to own land. So this is a big thing. So she's always thinking about how can she help people, how can she help them to reach their potential, not rescue them, help them to reach their potential. And that really, really, really showed. And I was really, really grateful to be able to spend a lot of time with her. We got to go on one of the safaris with her, her and her daughter, and one of the ladies who works with her. And that was just really, really nice to get some kind of up close, personal, and, you know, private conversations as well. And yeah, she's just exactly who she is in public, she is in private. And that's exactly what we all want, right? We all want to be the same person, be authentic. So I hope that gives you a little picture. I'm sure I haven't done it justice because it was just an unforgettable experience. And yeah, I have 1,000 other photos I could share, but I want actually one last thing. I will share one last thing from this little video. Hopefully it will play. Oh yes. So one last thing, just for fun. So this is how they pump the water. Is the video showing, or is it still the folder?
Still the folder.
Still the folder. Okay, hold on. This one. Okay, is the video showing now?
It looks like it.
Yeah. Okay, so this is how they pump the water from the big reservoir into the smaller reservoir, and then it will run down the pipe. So again, I wanted to help. But didn't quite manage it. So this is just to finish with. We did everything we could to help and had an amazing time doing it. So if you ever get the opportunity to go on any of these kind of trips, do not even question, just go. Because it was just a beautiful experience. So that's it from me.
Thank you, Lindsay. That was amazing. Yeah, you definitely got it across. You know, probably doesn't do it justice because you have to be there, right? But yeah, you got across what that was. And I remember doing the wild orange sourcing a couple of weeks ago as well. The zero waste was phenomenal. Yeah. Like, you know, so, you know, you talked about that with all those products, you know. How many products were there? Was it they do 4 or 5, or they do more than that? You talked about.
So they do more than that. They do more than that. Obviously, it wasn't the season for geranium, but they do geranium and lemon eucalyptus and tea tree and ylang ylang. So what's that? 6?
Cool.
6, 7.
Cool.
And moringa. That's one of the ones that they're starting to do is moringa.
Oh, moringa.
So they haven't got that one yet. Yeah.
Oh. Awesome.
Yeah,
well,
very cool.
Well, thank you, Lindsay. Thank you for sharing that. And now we're going to turn the time over to Becky Bowles, who is going to share some amazing product knowledge. So she's going to share a few things about some essential oils and about the seasonal threats that we are facing at this moment in time. Not like terrorist threats, or seasonal as in like, you know, health threats. So over to you, Mum. Are you there? I know you are because you're upstairs.
I know. Oh, okay. Yes, I'm going to be talking about the first one, Valerian. What I'd like to know is if you can put your hand up in the little reactions if you've actually got a Valerian. Maybe, Nathan, you could see how many roughly people have got Valerian. I'd like to kind of know.
Oh, put a 1 in the chat box if you've got Valerian, because I can't really see everyone. You put a 1 in the chat box.
Can't see the hands.
No,
okay.
I've spotlighted you, so just put like a 1 in the chat box. See how many.
Quite a few.
That's good. Lots of people do get it.
Oh, that's fantastic. Because I went to order it on the Monday and it sold out.
And you'd been begging them for it. And you'd been begging them for it.
Yeah. And I was like, I was going to talk on the on Sally's thing about it. So she said, Becky, I can't, you know, I don't. I said, oh, okay, I'll just buy it on the. I bought it on the big BOGO thing because I had to have it. Because when how many do you think have got it roughly?
10 maybe. One,
Oh,
two, three,
okay.
four. So not loads.
Oh, there's
Five,
still
six, seven,
60
eight,
of
nine.
you. 60 of you that don't have it. Well,
Well,
I'm really hoping, as it's a 15 ml bottle, I'm hoping that that means that they're going to continue it, because otherwise they might do a tiny bottle. Can't promise, but hoping that that's the situation. Now, when I was I am a herbalist, and but many years ago in my clinic, I would give valerian tincture to people that couldn't sleep. And so I have been waiting and waiting for there to be a valerian essential oil. And I told Sally Shipley this years ago when I first joined doTERRA. So she called me and phoned me before it was released and said, Becky, guess what? She said, valerian is coming. And I was so excited. Now, I don't have a problem sleeping. So for me to be able to tell you that I know that the valerian essential oil works, I can't do that because I don't have problems sleeping. But I can tell you what the valerian tincture, all the things that I know as a herbalist about the valerian tincture, and it'll be the same thing and maybe even more powerful because it is very concentrated. So has anybody, oh, my sleep has been mega since I've used it. Thank you for sharing that, Jenny. Was there anybody else that shared, Nathan, about how they've been going with valerian? I've used it for sleeping and it's been wonderful. I can feel it calming straight away when I put it on my feet. Amazing. Knocks me out. Thank you, Lisa. Anybody else? So is that only, yes, my friend managed to get some and said sleep was amazing. Okay, so that tells me that it's going to be amazing. I've been using it and Serenity, so not sure which one is working, but it's fab. Yeah, if you want to use a few of them, I'm going to try it tonight. Yeah, go and try it now. So what I used to teach people with the actual valerian tincture was that you take it like 20 minutes. So we used to put like a drop of it, a couple of drops of the tincture into a glass of water, warm water, drink it 20 minutes before sleep, and then you get into bed and you get all cozy. Don't then suddenly get up and turn the light out or anything like that. You would lie down in your bed and then you'll take your second dose, and then the sleep is incredible. But some of you, it looks like you're not having that problem. So let's experiment with it and see what happens. So that's how I would say to try if it doesn't work just with one dosage. Now, it does smell horrible. It smells like cheesy socks. So you kind of just got to accept that and just laugh about it, really, and then just take it anyway. So you can either put it under your tongue, you can put it on, I think everybody that's been taking it, or in a capsule. Okay, thank you, Lindsay. Yes, so you can take it internally, you can take it topically, see what works for you. Start with one drop and see whether you need any more. Because what we don't want is too much, because then you might be able to have remembering all your dreams, which could be a good thing if you really want to remember all your dreams, but then you're kind of maybe going in and out of sleep a bit. So just see how you go with it. Isn't it in the Serenity blend? Maybe, I'm not sure. I haven't seen it in there. Don't think so. Could someone check that? Maybe recently. My light's going in and out. Anyway, so it's not just for sleep. So it's also really, really good as a relaxant. And also it is, if you look in books, it says it's a sedative, but it doesn't knock you out or anything like that. It's just extremely calming. So if when you go to bed, you have insomnia, or you've got thoughts going round and round and round and you just can't switch off, this is an amazing oil for you. And you could try another time when you've used it for a while on its own, try it with spikenard. Again, you'll notice that spikenard also has a funny, cheesy kind of smell. So that, because they're both for inducing really a good night's sleep. So yeah, you can try both.
What's those
So
spooky socks?
the other thing,
Stinky socks helps you sleep better.
Sorry?
Stinky socks. That smell is what makes you sleep better. Is that right? Because we don't even need the oils then,
No,
right?
you kind of just
No, I was just kidding.
yeah, exactly. You just kind of get used to it after a while. You just know it's not going to be a nice smelling oil, and you just get on with it. And you think, well, that's the smell that triggers me to go to sleep. Would you? Oh, sorry, you'll have to read me some of these questions, Nathan. Like that, they're too quick. No wonder all men tend to sleep as well. It's brilliant. I think it smells minty. Good for you. That's great. Okay, so the other thing that it's really good for is a muscle relaxant. So if you've got tension here, then put it on. Try it first of all just alone, but then maybe try it with past tense. Try it with some of these other oils that are really good for relaxing the muscles anywhere in the body for the lower back, for women, certain times of the month. You know, Valerian is incredible for this. I just hope we're going to have it long term because I think it will sell so well. Also nervous exhaustion. Again, where the nervous system's been under a lot of stress, this is again relaxing to the nervous system. Also, if there's a backache and you can't sleep because your back is hurting so much, again, this will relax the muscles in the back. Let me see if there's anything else I wrote down. Oh, I said to Nathan, how am I going to say this one compliantly? Anyway, here we go. It has been shown to have an effect on lowering blood pressure.
You just said it uncompliantly. That's not what we agreed.
Okay. Okay. Well,
You were trying to say it without saying
No.
lowering blood pressure.
I'd say
I don't know how you say that.
it may lower
Sorry.
blood pressure.
It may help with blood pressure. That's what you're supposed to say.
Oh, that's easy. I thought you wanted me to say all the other bits. Fine. Anyway, any questions on that? Can you look down the chat, Nathan? Yes, I am on meds for blood, so cannot take Valerian.
I'll ask you the questions. Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Someone's asked, would you recommend it for a 13-year-old internally?
Yes, just a smaller dose. Yes, definitely. If they can't sleep, they need their sleep. So no problem. And you can just put it on the feet. Try on the feet as well. You know, for even younger children, just with a bit of coconut oil. Yeah, don't be afraid.
How do you take it again, please? Someone's asking how you take it. I suppose it's, it's either internally
again,
or
so you can take it try it topically and smell it. But really, my experience with the tincture is that it needs to be taken internally. But if you can take it topically and it works, go for just topically and smell it on an emotional level. I don't know what it is on an emotional level yet. I'm excited to find out. Any others?
Yeah, Rachel said she's on meds for blood, so she can't take Valerian. Obviously, that's because it helps with the same thing.
Not yet, no.
Yeah. And then Jenny said for blood pressure, possible help. Do we need to take it internally? So if you're going to help with the blood pressure, yeah, internal is how you would help with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that, Mum. Yeah, if you want to do the seasonal threats.
Okay. Yeah, so now I'm going to do the seasonal threats. And this I'm going to share with you about Superman. And the reason I'm sharing this is because my sister, I have two sisters, and this is the middle one. She came to me because she was with all her family. One of her daughters came over from America, and she's feeling so ill. She pushed herself through so that she could make this wonderful time for her daughter. And they were all up here around this area. And she popped in and said, Becky, I just need your care. I just need oils. I just know I'm to be here. And so she laid down, and I said, right, I'm going to give you the bioresonance. Let's pinpoint exactly what you need. And she came up with the Supermint oil. And so I thought, that's interesting. Of all the oils, because she's coughing, she's got this, really hurting inside. And this came up, and I thought I've learned to trust the bioresonance. For me, it works. And so I said, right, Donna, what I want you to do is take one drop under your tongue. And she went, okay. And she did. And she went, oh, Becky, my throat is in so much pain. I'm in so much pain. And I said, don't worry, it'll all be okay. In a moment, it will all ease off. Anyway, about 10 minutes later, she said to me, give me more of that. Give me more of it. It has totally numbed my throat. It's amazing. And they were going off to some football match, and she wasn't really able to get up and go. She went, Becky, I can go. If I can take that mint with me, I can go. I said, take it, go. Anyway, she came back the next day. I gave her bioresonance again, and she came up with it again. So for this, I trust that for this thing that's going around, try this. Because when you look at all that peppermints do, and there's 4 peppermints in here, so you've got a variety of chemistry of different peppermints, which is always going to be better, isn't it? Because you've got, extra bit of this in there, an extra bit of that in there. And also it tastes a bit milder. So it's not as strong if you take it in the mouth. I can't believe what peppermint might have done to her throat, but I love it. I love this. And let me just go through, in case some of you hadn't realized even what peppermint does in the body, and I may have missed some things. So I'm going to go through. This was what this peppermint will do, the supermint and the other peppermint. So why don't you just try all the peppermint things that you would do normally and try the supermint and see what the difference is. This is how we learn. So it's actually antibacterial and antiviral. And it's also amazing, as we know, for digestive upsets, for nausea, for vomiting. When sinuses are blocked is what she had, for anything with the chest support. It's also incredible. And I've used it so many times, peppermint, for bringing down a fever. Now, the body actually needs a fever to get rid of things. And what we don't want to do is stop the fever altogether, because it's the body's way of actually getting stuff out. So the peppermint going on will only bring it down to the safe level for the body to still get rid of stuff with the fever. So this is why you don't want to completely suppress the body's natural immune system response, but the peppermint brings it down safely. So always, I use peppermint up the spine, always to the nape of the neck where that triangle is. The other thing I use peppermint for all the time is shock. No matter if a child falls over, they cuts themselves, an adult, whatever it is, they often don't even know I'm there on the back of their neck with the peppermints. Yeah, and you can use this peppermint, especially for children, because it's gentler. So don't forget that, because shock can often be cause even more problems in the body than the actual cut or the bruise or whatever it is a child or an adult's just been through. And so we want to take that body out of that shock experience. It's also, I find it incredible, and a lot of you know this, but some may not, is that when you get a burn, put the lavender on, but then and do that fast. The quicker you do it, the quicker the burn won't be there, right? If you do it in literally like seconds. So get that lavender on, and then you put the peppermint on the top. And the peppermint cools it down very, very fast. And you can end up with, I haven't heard of that. Yeah. So you can actually end up not having a burn at all if you really fast. And I've seen it so many times. Yeah. Obviously, we know that it keeps you awake. So try the supermint and see how that wakes you up. Yeah, if you're driving a long way home, or you need to be, and early in the morning, or when you wake up and you need a bit of energy, give yourself the peppermint. Also, a lovely herbal tea. So don't put the oil into boiling water. Let it cool down slightly so it kills all the therapeutic benefits, and put some raw honey in it. So raw honey, not ordinary honey. Raw honey has all the medicinal qualities in it. And that's amazing to have the peppermint herbal tea, supermint herbal tea with your raw honey. So delicious. And don't forget that the roller bottle, there's the roller bottle too. So for digestive issues, you rub it on your round this way on the digestive area. You can put it on children, on the children's spine, this one, for bringing down, helping them with all their digestive issues or the spine or the fever or the shock. Let's see what else we have. Oh, the other thing that peppermint, which not a lot of people know about this, is that peppermint is really brilliant as a radio protective, radiation protective. And you can see PubMed articles on this, on all the research they've done on peppermint. And you can put the peppermint with chamomile, the chamomile essential oil, because that also has been shown to be protective against radiation. Now, apart from that, I don't know how to tell you how to take it other than to put it on, or to take it internally and trial it out, because I don't know any more than that. I just know that it's very, very protective, and they've done studies to show how protective those two oils are. So maybe, trust it and put some on. Maybe if you've been on the phone a lot, or you've been in London or sorry?
Maybe in the diffuser in your house.
In a diffuser in your house would be a wonderful way of using it to help you. Yeah. Now, don't also forget, I'm going to remind you again that peppermint is a driver. So whenever oils you're putting on for the seasonal threats, if it's thyme, if it's tea tree, that also giving you support in this period of time, peppermint at the end, because it drives all the other oils in and almost like carves out a pathway to the brain, to the stomach, to the heart, and takes the oils where they need to go. And so, don't forget that peppermint last. So even if it's a sprain and you've got all these oils going on a sprain, peppermint's the last one to go on, unless, of course, you're going to put frankincense on. And then I would put peppermint and frankincense. Maybe I still would put peppermint last after frankincense. That's me personally, because it's tingle. I feel like it's tingling everywhere to take it all everywhere. Yes. Lindsay talked about tea tree. So don't forget that at this time as well. For this area, if you take the tea tree and put it under your tongue and let it go down, let it slowly drip down to here, that would be amazing for anything that's coming along like that. Any questions there, Nathan?
Yeah, Lindsay's got a question. Are you talking about protection from EMF radiation like Wi-Fi?
Radiation of all kinds. Now, how much it's protective, I don't know. I just know that they did studies on, they did it on mice, but they did it on mice, and they zapped them with radiation, and then they tested both lots that were and weren't, and the ones that weren't had the chamomile, or I think there's peppermint actually in one. They did two separately, chamomile and peppermint separately. They weren't damaged. So
it's really cool.
Yes, you can see the articles for yourself. Yeah, but again, don't think you can be on hours and get away with it on the phone. Just know that it's going to help support you a bit. Yeah. Any other questions there?
No, not at the moment. Unless anyone else has any other questions for you.
Yeah, I think it's more about just to remember that the body likes variety. So, in these seasonal threat times, switch things up. Yeah, but use one or use another, or use thyme, use tea tree, use the supermint, use oregano on the feet. Arbor vitae is another one that is not used often, and that one actually can be against seasonal threats that are new ones that come along.
Well, thank you very much, Mum, for your expert knowledge. I'm sure everyone appreciates that. It's nice to hear the little snippets, the little facts, how you use them, to be reminded that you're using them well, or just learn more about the essential oils, because there's so much to learn, isn't there?
There's so much. It's wonderful.
It gives a lot of confidence, you sharing it with your vast experience. So thank you.
Thank you all.
So, well, that's the end of our team call tonight. So we'd like to thank you all for coming out. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Mum, for sharing your wisdom. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks on our next team call. So everyone, have a wonderful end to your Easter weekend. And
Yeah, love to you all.
see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.